Yeah.
Awesome. We're going to go right into questions for freshman running back Donald Chaney Jr. First up, we have Gary Fuhrman of Kane Sport. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, Don, how are you? Obviously, you guys have 3 running backs alternating this year, and if you add De'Eric to the mix, you really have 4 running backs that are sharing rushing attempts. It seems like every time you've gotten a chance to touch the football that you're really making it count. Talk a little bit about, how you feel just about everybody sharing the load, and does that create a sense of urgency for you when you do get to go into the game that you have to perform, and is that helping you play to the level that you've been playing this year?
That's actually a really good question. Well, my mindset going into the game, we all share, the same amount of plays, around the same amount of plays. My mindset going in the game is I've always heard from the greats, and also my father and Coach Hickson. They always tell me when you get an opportunity, you always got to make the most of it. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but when Frank Gore was here, when all of they called them the big 3, all of that. You feel me? They all made the most of their opportunities. They all made the most of what they can get. So that's really my mindset. Whenever I get in, I just make the best of my opportunity. So in the future, the opportunity that I made the best of, it can show.
And how is the competition helping you guys get better every day in practice?
A lot of people don't notice, but everybody competes. Everybody competes every day. But our bond is so strong, it's almost not competing. It's almost as if we're just making each other better. Day by day, we make each other better. We don't really call it competing. We're just making each other better day by day so we can go out and perform and win. Get the dub for the team.
Thank you.
Awesome. Next up, we have Manny Navarro, The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Don, congrats on a very successful freshman season. Curious, what's been the thing that's maybe been the toughest challenge for you when you think back to when you first got to Miami till now? What's challenged you the most your freshman season?
Probably when I got into the game, everything was a little bit fast for me. I've never been in a spread type situation. You know me since high school, so I haven't been in a spread type situation. So it's like everything is a little fast for me. But once, having talks with Coach Red, Coach Hickson, Coach Diaz, like they'll talk to me and tell me, look, all you have to do is just, slow things down. Once you start slowing things down, things will start coming more easier and easier to you. And that's all it's been. That's all she wrote from there.
And then, just as a quick follow, we know about the shoulder procedure you had, I guess, before the season. But when you got nicked up again against NC State, was it basically the same thing? I know you ended up coming back, but just curious, was it sort of the same injury?
Oh no, it was just a stinger.
Okay.
Reoccurring stingers. No.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Next up, we have David Lake of InsideTheU. David, go ahead.
Yeah, Don, I was just wondering if you could share what stands out about North Carolina's defense from what you've seen on film so far.
I have a lot of athletic people. Safeties are athletic. They have a 6'4", very athletic safety. The D linemen are gritty. They go after the ball. They like to eat. They have a really good linebacker that was he was a quarterback, but he went to a linebacker, and that's a really good guy too. So we're just gonna play like a regular game. We obviously have to be precautious on things because you never underestimate a team. But they have a really great team, and I'm looking forward to playing them.
I was wondering too if your fastest mile per hour on the Catapult GPS that you've hit either in a game or in practice this year.
21.7.
Cool.
All right, Don, the last question we have for you is from Christopher Stock of InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead.
Don, Coach lastly mentioned maybe that you starting to, last week in practice felt like you had a strong week. You and Jalen, are you feeling either healthy or you had the time off? Just how are you feeling down the stretch and kind of your mindset these last few games for yourself?
My mindset is just, keep doing what I'm doing, keep trusting in God, and just keep doing what you're doing because, everything, God has a plan. Everything happens for a reason. And these past couple of weeks, everybody's been working a lot harder because, Manny instilled in us that November is what makes champions. And November was a really important month for us, and we made the most of it. We made the most of it. And now we're just trying to keep going, become 10-1 or 11-1, however far the season takes us. So, yeah.
Don, we're actually going to do one more from David Feronas at the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Don, I want to know for you and Jalen what it's been like having the veteran running backs, Cam and Robert Burns, just, helping you guys and just showing you guys what it takes to be a college running back.
I'm telling y'all, it's actually I've been like grateful, to have a leader like those two right there, because me and Rooster would probably be a lot more confused because everything would be on us. Like, we can handle it, but it's like you have the veterans over there to sit down with you when your coach is talking, and they'll pull you to the side and be like, "Yo, let me show you maybe an easier way, a way that you can understand." And that's how Cam and Robert have been for us the entire season. Still to this day, I pull Robert to the side and I'm like, "Robert, dude, you gotta tell me how to do this. You gotta tell me how to do that," stuff like that. So it's very helpful. I wouldn't ask for anything else.
Awesome. We're going to go right into questions for defensive end Quincy Roche. First up, we have Christopher Stock of InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Quincy, curious about Jafari Harvey, maybe your relationship or how you've talked to him or connection with him this year. And obviously, he'll be looking to step up into a bigger role moving forward.
Yeah, me and Jafari Harvey, we built quite a bit of a relationship over my time here, both on the field and off the field. On the field, just kind of as an older guy, I just kind of try to give him guidance where it's necessary. And off the field, that's my guy. We hang out sometimes, we chill sometimes. And I think that he has a bright future in front of him. I think he's a really talented player. And I'm excited to see what he can do for the team, finishing out this year and leading into next year.
Great. Next up, we have David Wilson of the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
Hey, Quincy. Obviously, you came in here thinking it was going to be for 1 year, but you can come back next year with the NCAA rules. I'm curious, have you given it any thought yet as to whether you would enter the NFL draft or come back for an extra season?
Right now, I'm just locked in on finishing the season as strong as possible. We got a really good opportunity this year to do some great things, go 10-1, win 10 games, 11 games, go to a great bowl game. So right now I'm just focused on finishing as strong as possible. After the season, we'll look at what's the best decision for me and my family.
And then obviously part of it coming here, you wanted to, I'm sure kind of show you could go up against, ACC competition, improve your game a little bit. Just how do you feel like maybe you have improved and maybe what have you shown this season that you didn't get to show in the past?
I think I showed some strides in the run game. In the pass rush, I think I've been doing decent. Definitely some room for improvement in the pass rush. But I've started to hit a rhythm, and I'm excited to see what these last two games have in store.
Awesome. Next up, we have Tom D'Angelo of the Palm Beach Post. Tom, go ahead.
Thanks, David. Hey, Quincy. It's been a long season, and you guys normally this time of year you'd have been done by a couple of weeks. And you mentioned it before, the importance. And there's still so much to play for, even though you've been out there a long time. What's that all? What's that feel like? Does it feel like it's been as long as it has been on the calendar? And then, expand a little bit on just the importance, knowing how this program the last couple of years, 2 out of the last 3 years, didn't do well at the end of the year. The importance of finishing strong.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, it's like you said, it's a lot of things we still have to play for. This season has been a little bit different than years in any other year I've ever played football. But you know, I this is a special group of guys. And the guys that's in this locker room, you know, we all love each other. We all love playing with each other, and we just been having fun playing. And so, you know, the season really, you know, has been flying by. But, you know, like I say, we're excited about finishing these last few games out. And, you know, part of me coming here, you know, that was, you know, part of my role on the team, you know, is to make sure guys on the team are locked in, finishing strong. And so, yeah, like, I think we're going to finish strong. I think we're, you know, going to do a lot of good things moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, Quincy. Next up, we have Manny Navarro of The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Quincy, congrats on a great season so far. I'm curious, when you guys go in practice, you know, which young offensive tackles you might be going up against, and just kind of maybe their development or the progress you've seen from them throughout the season.
First, thank you. Second, you know, Zion, you know, I go against Jared. I try to go on both sides. You know, J Camp, you know, we kind of played two left tackles, so, you know, I kind of go against both of them. But I think we got a really talented O-line. You know, Coach Justice does a great job of coaching them up. So yeah, I kind of go against a lot of different people. But I think Zion has a bright future. J Camp has a bright future. You know, like I said, I'm excited to see what they have in store in the future.
Yeah, I was curious just maybe how the strides maybe you've seen as they've gotten better, because Coach Justice has obviously been developing both of those guys. I'm wondering, you know, what specific things do you think they've gotten better at? Because they're giving up very few sacks.
Yeah, you know, Zion in particular, you know, when I first got here, I think he was like 275, 285. You know, he turned into a monster. Just, you know, as athletic as he is, being as big as he is, you know, if he can, you know, get his body right and get really on point, you know, I think he'll turn out to be an amazing player. You know, he already is an amazing player, but, you know, I think he'll be even better than what he is now.
Thanks.
All right, Quincy. Our last question for you comes from Christopher Stock of InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead.
Quincy, curious about what you've seen from North Carolina on film, and in particular Sam Howell, the quarterback. Just your thoughts on the offense you guys are getting ready to face.
I got the opportunity to play against them last year in the bowl game, you know, so I kind of seen them up close and personal. You know, their skills, you know, their running back stable, their receivers can compete with any skills in the country. You know, Sam Howell is a very talented thrower. You know, the scheme as well, you know, the way they pass protect, with the way they run block. And so their offense is really explosive. So I think, you know, we really got to lock in, and we got to be on our P's and Q's this game and make sure we're at our best, so we can come out with a dub.
Hey, Navaughn. Well, first, can you just take us through what the rehab process was like? Obviously, I mean, it's always a difficult rehab to come back from a big knee injury, but you know, especially a guy that's you know, as heavy as you are. I mean, that's even tougher. You know, putting weight on that knee, and just what it felt like to finally get into a game and have a big game like you did this past weekend.
I mean, you know, at first it was a lot of pain, like from getting off of the hospital to being home to not even being able to walk on it for 6 months. You know, it's a lot. And then be able to learn how to bend it again was a long process that the trainers helped me mentally and physically. So, I mean, it was a long process, but with the training staff we have here, it was a great process. I was able to get stronger, faster, with their help, and also feel good mentally and physically.
And what about how it felt just getting back into a game like you did this Saturday, and having, you know, like the big block for the Cam Harris touchdown, things like that?
It was good to get back in the game. I mean, my mindset was, if I'm going to play, just play as fast as possible, as hard as possible. And just, if I'm making mistakes, oh well, you know, just go in and play and have fun.
All right, next up we have Manny Navarro of The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, welcome back. I'm curious if you could just take us back to Duke a year ago when you first got hurt, and just kind of, you know, what that moment was like when you realized it was serious, and, you know, just that journey, the beginning of it, how it kind of all got started, the comeback.
I mean, even at first, I didn't know how serious it was until, like, I heard from some players that had the same injury as me, and, like, it's a long process. But I feel like the difference between that year and this year is the depth of the offensive line. You know, last year we didn't really have too many people that our coach last year was comfortable putting in the game, but we just had to manage. I know this year we have a lot of depth in the offensive line room. The talent level is amazing, and everybody in there has the ability to step on the field and help us win. So,
and then on the other side of it too, you know, you've always been a big guy, but the importance of just being in great shape and how hard that might be to achieve when you're coming back from a knee injury, and just maybe the focus that you have on being in great shape going forward.
I mean, I know, like, when I was able to actually start running and start planting and stuff like that, my training, my rehab was more, you know, cardio, like running on the treadmill for 12 minutes, different speeds all the time. Is always running, always moving. The process, you know, it was hard. It was harder than practice sometimes. You know, like when I got back to practice, I was happy how hard the rehab was. So, I mean, it was just good.
Thanks.
All right, next up we have David Wilson of the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, first of all, congrats on getting back out there. First, I don't know if we ever got the full extent of the diagnosis. What was the exact injury? Were there a couple of tears in there, or was it just diagnosis?
I tore my ACL and my MCL.
Okay, so it was multiple.
Yeah.
And then just for you, I mean, you kind of really got thrown in there on Saturday, you know, going from no snaps to kind of playing a lot with Ja'Kai going down. I don't know, was that difficult? Like, how tired were you after that? And just, you know, how are you kind of feeling a couple of days later after, you know, really kind of getting thrown in the fire again?
I mean, I was ready to play since Virginia Tech game when we only had a handful of offensive linemen. So I know before the game, my coach said if any of the guards go down, just be ready to step in. And, you know, guard went down and I was ready to help. So it was just good. And what was the other part of your question? I forgot.
No, I think you got it. Thanks.
Oh, no problem.
All right, Navaughn, next up we have David Lake of InsideTheU. David, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, wanted to ask you just about playing in this new offense, you know, particularly you being a big guy and the offense likes to play at a fast tempo, right? Has that been an adjustment for you in any way? And just what do you think of that?
I love it, actually. Like, going back to my freshman year, it was pretty much the same tempo. This tempo is a little bit faster, but the play calling is simple. It's easy for us to just get in there, just play hard. So, I mean, I love the offensive coordinator and his schemes and be able to play with everybody's strengths within the offensive scheme. So I think it's really good for me.
I was wondering, too, if you wouldn't mind sharing just what you're weighing in at right now playing, and maybe in the future, have the trainers or David Feely set a goal for you that they'd like to get you down to, like maybe even as far as next season?
Right now, you don't have to worry about all that. You know, I mean, like, I'm still a little banged up where I can't really play full speed as it is. So right now, I'm just worrying about the injuries I got from practicing for real the first week and just, like, be able to contribute. That's it.
All right, Nesta, Navaughn, sorry about that. We have a couple more questions. Next up, we have Christopher Stock from InsideTheU. Chris, go ahead.
Nesta, curious about your mindset these next few games about playing time. Obviously, you've been a starter your whole time here. The coaches have talked about maybe bringing you along slowly. Just your mindset now that you've played a game, or are you looking to be a full-time player, role player? How do you see it these next few games?
I'm comfortable with anything the coach wants me to do. You know, me and him talk all the time about stuff. If the coach don't feel like it's necessary for me to play, I play. But like I said earlier, the offensive line room has have a whole bunch of talent at tackle, guard, and center. So I think playing me slow was a good idea. Having everybody else come in and step in, like Fuhrman, who was able to take some reps off of me. Even the Duke game, and come out and help us score more points and help us win. So like I said earlier, we have a whole bunch of talent in the offensive line room and just getting better and better every day.
All right, next up we have Gary Fuhrman of CaneSport. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, you've been here for a while now, obviously, and they've gone through some different changes and stuff. In watching the offensive line this year, it seems like guys are improving as the season's going on. You know, you're really seeing it. The sack totals are down and things like that. Talk about the impact that Coach Justice has made and maybe what kind of different style that he might have that's having a little bit of a positive effect on you guys.
I mean, it comes from his personality. And like Coach Justice is an amazing coach. He's a laid back type of guy. But he'll work you. He'll work you hard. We're gonna play fast, and we're gonna know what we did wrong if we make a mistake. And that's one thing I think is the best approach that you have is the set that if you're gonna make a mistake, it's gonna be 100% your fault, and you're able to fix it. You just have to play hard and focus on your technique, and just come in every day, be able to practice fast and stuff. So it's really good.
Is he much different than the other coaches that you've worked under in your time at Miami?
Yes, you know, he's yes, he's much different. You know, he's a little bit of Coach Sherrill's where, you know, the technique wise, the practice, how it feels was a little bit, but he's his own person. You know, everything he do, he's just a laid back type of vibe. That when we work, and we work fast. We're gonna work hard, and we're gonna work with great technique. And that's one thing he installed into us, like be able to play your best when your best is needed, and just to be consistent.
All right, thank you.
All right, our last question for you comes from David Feronas of the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Navaughn, just also wanted to ask how grateful you are of the NCAA rule that, you know, lets you still contribute at the end of this year and not have to redshirt entirely, but then that you still do get an extra season at the end of this. And then also what your approach will be to the off season to get a full off season beyond your recovery now.
I mean, the whole plan was for me to redshirt, but I don't know. Since this year's don't count, I don't know how that's going to go. I mean, it's just a free year. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I think for this off season, I'm just going to work as hard as I can. That's it. You know, being here all the time, seeing the trainers, being in the weight room more than I usually be. Even if I have free time, just come in and get something done. Be able to watch more film, especially with the team. I think that's one thing that we did this season that helped us bond more as an offensive unit. So, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that I'm ready to get back into.
Your play for the last month has clearly been the best of your career. Can you talk a little bit about what you think has come together for you and why you think you're able to make a greater impact on the games each week?
I think that's just it's a part of just growing as an interior D lineman. You know, it's not easy just, you know, coming and making an immediate impact sometimes, you know, just learning and growing more into your body and just learning more techniques and just refining your technique, you know, things like that. Just every week, really, just trying to get better.
And how much is it helping you the way Jalen and Quincy are playing on the outside, you know, obviously at such an elite level? How much is that helping you guys inside?
I think we all help each other. You know, everybody feeds off each other.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Next up, we have David Feronas of the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Nesta, I wanted to ask about Navaughn, just what you guys saw in him, his whole comeback from injury last season, and what it was like seeing him, you know, in his season debut, go out there and throw a huge block out there for the Cam Harris touchdown.
Yeah, we actually, you know, Coach Diaz does his thing every week where he puts, you know, impactful plays that, you know, some people may not see because, you know, most people only see Cam's touchdown. They don't see how, you know, Vaughn cut off that whole side of the field for him to be able to run free. So, you know, that was a great thing to really see, you know, just because especially that was the field he got hurt on a year ago. So just seeing him come back, you know, life comes full circle sometimes, you know.
Great. Next up, we have David Wilson of the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
Hey, Nesta. You guys were obviously a little shorthanded at defensive tackle Saturday. Kind of curious what you thought of, you know, guys like Jordan Miller and some other guys who maybe had expanded roles on Saturday, and just kind of generally some of the younger defensive linemen who we haven't gotten to see a lot this year, but might have a bigger role next season. What have you kind of thought of some of those guys?
You know, Elijah Roberts got in versus Virginia Tech. Jalar and
Delara and Bliss had a very expanded role this past week. And they definitely seem comfortable, and they've been working very hard. All the guys that play behind us, they're all just waiting for their turn. And I think no matter who you stick in there, that you get a good result.
And then just looking ahead to North Carolina, they have a really good offense. Obviously, what defensively? What are kind of some of the things you guys are really talking about this week?
We respect them. We know they have a good quarterback, good receivers, good running back. It's a good team. We just got to get ready for them.
All right, next up we have Manny Navarro of The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Nesta, congrats on a great season. I was curious, Coach Diaz has talked about, how maybe some early conversations have already been going on about the NFL or making the jump to the next level. Is it something that you're considering at all? I mean, you're a junior already and you had a great season, so I'm curious if it's on your mind.
Right now I'm just focused on North Carolina and, getting this W. We're 8-1 right now, and, just 9-1 would be great coming from a 6-7 season.
And then as a follow, you obviously have played next to so many great defensive ends, and Jalen Phillips this year. I was curious how maybe he's similar in some ways to Greg Rousseau, and maybe in some ways how he's different. If you could just sort of compare what it's like playing next to those guys.
I think they're both great players. They both don that 15 very well, and they're similar body types, but they both just bring a very unique thing to the game, and they're their own unique skill sets that leave a mark on the game, as you can see.